Zimbabwean entrepreneur and property developer Mr. Kenneth Sharp has raised the country's flag high after scooping the prestigious Forbes Best of Africa awards.
For the first time in 2 decades, Zimbabwe made it to the top of the Forbes Best of Africa Innovative CEO Awards, following the recognition of a local entrepreneur and property developer Mr. Kenneth Sharp at the just concluded edition of the awards. On the back of this success, the expectation is that it will give an endorsement to the country's investment outlook and help attract potential investors.
All right, so Ken, I must start by saying congratulations on that massive recognition. It comes as a big booster both to you as an individual and also to Zimbabwe as a country. But just to kickstart our interview, maybe you'll want to fill us in exactly what the recognition is about and how the judging process was conducted.
Thank you, Theo. It's so nice to join in to your conversation this morning and to the viewers of ZBC. What a privilege and an honor it is, and just hoping I'll be able to give justice to this, because as a mere mortal, I can't fully explain how this has happened. You know, everything in life happens for a good reason. And as a man of God, I truly believe in my favorite verse of the Bible is Romans 8:28, which reads, "All things work for the good to those who love the Lord, to those who are called by him." And I know I love God, and I know that he does call me for his purposes. So I would like to believe this award came to me from him. And, you know, it is administered through the Forbes network, financial investment network of London, selected several candidates. And I was chosen as one of the 9 awardees across Africa for Best of Africa. And I was given the Innovative CEO Award. And just, I guess, being on this call today, you know, Zoom technology, meeting from home, meeting away from work, working remotely has been a common cause to me for the last actually 5 years. So I was a little bit ahead of the game when COVID hit the world just over 18 months ago. I had been practicing running my businesses globally, remotely, from locating myself in different places. In fact, the last 5 years prior to COVID, I'd traveled about 80 countries, 200 cities. And my team and me, we were able to perfect the art of managing remotely working. So yeah, it's great to be able to be honored and recognized. It's quite humbling, I must admit. I feel inadequate sometimes and feel like I don't deserve it as much as maybe my team should be getting it, and those around me, my family, and of course, my Heavenly Father. This award really goes to him. I honor God in this, and all glory to God our Father in heaven. May his light continue to shine through us.
Now, I'm looking at this award coming as an endorsement, both on you as an individual and also on Brand Zimbabwe. Now, from this perspective of endorsing Zimbabwe, where does it put the nation in terms of its openness for business, and also as a potential investment destination for international investors?
Zimbabwe is on the up. We've been through a long period of economic decline. If I was to look back over the last 2 decades, 20 years, I would say there's been very challenging periods in that 20 years. In fact, 2 of them in particular is the hyperinflation period that we went through up until dollarization in 2009. And then again, more economic decline after the inclusive government. So I think that Zimbabwe under this new dispensation is definitely open for business. The signals have been there for the last 2 years. And we've clearly seen, especially in the last 12 months, surprisingly enough, during COVID, when many countries are on the decline economically, their GDPs have shrunk, money supply systems have been threatened, you know, extremely huge amounts of money have been printed. Zimbabwe, fortunately, has managed to survive and thrive. I would say the economic activity now is higher than it was pre-COVID. Despite the lockdowns and economic challenges of our country, I've seen economic activity happening organically within the system. That means to me that government is doing certain things right. I like the vision of 2030 by His Excellency, our President. I like the idea that Zimbabweans should be in the upper middle income bracket by 2030. And there's no reason why we can't. However, it starts with you and me. We have to do our part. And me as a business leader, as someone who's doing things to change the skyline of Harare in property development, I believe we are rebuilding Zimbabwe, as I say, brick by brick, literally putting bricks in the ground.
Now, let's look at the performance of the real estate sector. Now, over the years, it's been one of the sectors that has witnessed a bit of a shaky ground owing to economic challenges. How have you managed to withstand the tide?
No, with COVID, it's an interesting scenario. It's forced people back into their homes. So I actually thank Mr. COVID, because even in my own life, my daughter is 25. She's been living out of the home since she was 16. She went to Switzerland to finish her school and university in London and Stanford in America. And we were able to live as a family again together during COVID. And I think this is a common scenario for families all over the world, where they've been able to have their family units much closer than ever before. So COVID, in fact, has brought awareness to homes in a way that was not there before. And we can see the real estate sector throughout the world has seen significant growth. A friend of mine in Nigeria I met recently in Dubai was telling me he saw growth of 500% in his real estate business in the last year. And we've been in a similar situation. We've seen phenomenal growth, more than 150% growth in our business in the last year. So we are very pleased with the progress, and we can see Zimbabweans have always valued their homes. You know, if I look back to growing up in the 80s, 70s and 80s in Zimbabwe, if I look at the population of even low-income earners, there was one thing that they were really striving for. And this thing is to provide an education for their children across the board. You know, all Zimbabweans worked really hard, and every cent they would save to send their children to school. And once their children got an education, they would then invest into their homes. And the typical model is buy a piece of land, you know, buy a stand, build the foundation one year, then put up the walls the next. And over the next 5-10 years, you see the house slowly growing until it becomes roof level. Even people living in the home when it's not painted is a common sight in Harare. So I believe that our philosophy as a people have always been to invest into our homes. One thing that we must thank Robert Mugabe for is that during the hyperinflation, it wiped out all debt. So if you take mortgages, if you take borrowings, you know, it almost was removed to zero. So people's equity in their homes became a gift in a way. People that had borrowings from the bank, you know, their mortgages were basically forgiven during hyperinflation. So it created a lot of equity in the system. You find in Zimbabwe, we have a very high proportion of homeowners that don't owe money to the bank. If you look at the Western world, it's over 90% of homes are mortgaged, which means that you don't really own your home. Your bank owns the home and you just pay them every month a rent. In Zimbabwe, we are different in the way that we are owning our properties, and sometimes we leverage them, you know, to borrow money. But my advice to everyone out there is keep your property debt-free. This is an inheritance for your children. This is how generational wealth is created from one generation to another. And I'm a firm believer in generational wealth momentum.
Now, Ken, as our last point today, looking at the investment appetite, I know you have a huge base of interaction. Obviously, from those interactions, there is that investment sentiment in Zimbabwe. How is the investment appetite, especially towards the
As I was saying earlier, I do believe it's on the up. We're seeing promising stability in the economy, both surprisingly, you know, and I was not one of the initial believers in the foreign currency auction system. I have seen results from it in the last 12 months that have proven to me I was wrong. And I do believe that there is macro stability in the country now. Fiscally, the government is managing the economy well. And with the discretion of allowing US dollars to work alongside RTGS dollars, I think the economy is beginning to flourish. And if government continues to support that initiative, the international community really needs to know that every dollar they invest into the country can be taken back out of the country. It's always the exit that people are interested in. You can invest into any country you like. There's so many opportunities in the world. Zimbabwe is a small economy generally in a world scale, and people want to know and have the confidence that when they put money into the country, that they can get their money back. And I believe having the currencies traded together will allow them to have that reassurance. So even our flagship development, Mall of Zimbabwe, our partners in South Africa, you know, they've been doing malls a long time. They've built more than 50 malls, in fact, more than 90 malls. They have been saying to us for a long time, you know, we can bring the tenants, we can bring the investment. We need to know that there's stability in the rentals that will be paid. Over a long period, we need to know for the next 10, 20 years that those rentals will be able to be paid in US dollars. So I think it's about proving that that can work. And so far, so good. You know, the last year or two have been good traction. If we continue down this trajectory, I would like to believe that investment can only grow. Zimbabwe is open for business, yes.
Thank you so much, Ken. All the best in your endeavors.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you for the time. Great speaking to you.
The Forbes Best of Africa Awards, held under the ambit of the Foreign Investment Network, are an important platform to spotlight business and assist in driving foreign direct investment for Africa and other developing economies. The award comes as the country is pursuing an open for business mantra by opening investment opportunities in various economic sectors, including the real estate and property development industries. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News, Harare.
Well done indeed to Kenneth.